What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the FloGrappling Show, aka the worst show on the internet. Sorry about that. Sorry I blew it right there for everybody listening. But I'm Trey Robinson, as always. Over here, we got friggin' Joey Gilps and then Uncle Reed right there. And now listen, we're filming on a Thursday right now. Normally, we film on a Monday. So I'm sure all of the devout listeners of this episode or of this podcast are thinking like, what's going on, boys? You're keeping us on our toes. You're keeping us guessing. We were supposed to have a very special guest today. I'm a little bummed it fell through, but we were going to have Gable Steveson on the show to talk about his upcoming match with Craig Jones. Gable, I believe, ended up having some flight issues. Maybe some things got delayed or canceled. I'm not sure. He wasn't able to make it, so a little bit of a bummer there, but I was excited to talk to him about his match with Craig, how he's preparing and all that. It's not every day you get to talk to an Olympic champion, so that would have been sick, but hopefully we'll be able to get Gable on soon enough, Do you guys have any heater of questions ready for Gable? Maybe we could put it out there and let just internet commenters answer them instead?
Just generally how his jiu-jitsu training's been going. I was really excited to dive in to see what guards he's playing, what submissions he's messing with, that type of thing.
You think he's practicing guards at all?
Would be so fun. Yeah. Other than, top pressure, wondering if he's getting into the jiu-jitsu world and, if he's catching the bug at all.
Yeah. So a commenter out there, go ahead and just, take the matters into your own hands and let us know how Gable's jiu-jitsu training is going. We'll rely on you guys to tell us what's going.
What were the questions that you were dying to ask?
Man, I was just, a lot of stuff about Olympic Village. To be honest, you hear all the rumors. You hear that's a wild place sometimes. So I had a lot of questions about the Olympic Village and,
No, but his was Tokyo, so they I think they were way more locked down, right?
Ah, dang.
Yeah, it was like a COVID thing. Yeah.
But obviously that would have been a sick one, but whatever. So instead, we're going to, kind of just talk about a little bit of what's happening in the jiu-jitsu world. The jiu-jitsu world moves fast. Like events that were 2 weeks ago feel like they were 2 years ago whenever you're just on the jiu-jitsu circuit, always moving and following what's up next, because things are they happen so fast in the jiu-jitsu world. But there are some big events on the horizon. Obviously, who's number one? I think we're going to save the full in-depth who's number one preview for next week's episode on Monday. But there's also a BJJ Stars coming up. CJI is obviously coming up. They've had some big announcements for the teams, and specifically the women's bracket is complete now, so we'll talk some about that. PGF recently did their draft, so we're kind of dive into a lot of these things that are happening in the jiu-jitsu world right now. But to kick it off, what should we talk about first?
Joe, where do you want to go?
For me, I kind of want to start just right here at this most recent change to the WNO card. I know everybody was super excited for the Owen Jones versus Gianni match. We put it out there. Owen is not going to be able to compete, so we're looking for a replacement right now for Gianni. And man, it's amazing seeing how many people are willing to step up, take on a veteran like Gianni. It really speaks to the depth at some of these weight classes that we're seeing. Really, really quality guys out there. I know I saw Max Hansen in the comments, for example. World ranked guys like that, all really excited to step up and take that opportunity. Gabriel Souza was in there, some really good names. So that change is coming. We're going to figure out something real quick for Gianni. Sorry to see Owen out, obviously. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this is a classic, how the turntables situation, because we announced Owen was looking for a match. We put out the graphic. Everyone kind of filed in, started saying who they thought it should be and stuff, and the people were saying it's got to be Gianni, so then boom, that match gets signed, and now I think Owen has some stuff going on. I'm not exactly sure why he ended up not being able to make it, but sadly he had to pull out. I know he's super bummed about it. He told us he still wants a match with Gianni, so hopefully that one will happen soon. But now, now we got Gianni looking for a match, and it does, out of looking at the comments, there's a ton of comments on that so far of who Gianni should take on. It does kind of seem like Max Hansen's a little bit of the front runner. I'm seeing a lot of traction for Max, a lot of people getting behind him, saying that match should happen. So I put out a video where he has the perfect game plan for a vegan, which I didn't know Gianni was vegan, to be honest, but he was just hitting his training partner with a spare rib. So I don't know.
Strategy.
Is that allowed? Did we ever address that in the WNO rulebook?
Is that in the WNO rules video that we play?
No,
nothing in the rulebook says you can't hit a guy with a spare rib.
Yeah, so I don't know. He might be onto something there.
Take your spare ribs. We don't need them.
Yeah, but so hopefully that match will be announced soon. If I had to guess, probably by later today or tomorrow, we'll probably announce who Gianni has coming up.
It's just crazy that like is Gianni versus Owen just like a cursed match? These guys are just going to continue circling each other for years on end here. We got to make this one happen.
Very well could be. What's the most cursed match in jiu-jitsu history that you can think of?
I don't know.
I could throw one out there.
Yeah,
Mika versus Tynan. It kind of feels like it's a little bit
Mika
just
versus
like
Tynan.
This guy gets here, and then they kind of don't, meet here, and that's a match where I feel like these guys are just always circling each other. One guy does the IBJJF Grand Slam one year, then the next guy does it the other year. When their paths are just kind of not synced up. You know what I mean? And to me, that would be one example of modern jiu-jitsu where we're just not quite getting it.
The one that came to mind to me, as I know we've seen it a bunch of times, Felipe versus Gordon, but
that was the first one.
But there is definitely some voodoo going on when those two guys sign for a match. So there's 100%. Definitely something going on there, some type of curse. But
yeah, Felipe versus Gordon is like potentially, I still think, one of the craziest, biggest matches that can happen, but also maybe a match that should never happen again.
Yeah.
That's definitely a cursed match for sure.
Yeah.
But other events we got coming up, BJJ Stars is going down July 26th. So this is actually the day after Who's Number 1 29. Who's Number 1 going down July 25th, and then BJJ Stars July 26th. So this is a little 2-for-1 special,
Yeah, big weekend there.
Yeah, if you have FloGrappling, then it's going to be a sick weekend for that one. But
I think there's also finishers. I think we might have an IBJJF thing that weekend. There's a fight to win that weekend. I think there's like 6 events across that one weekend of jiu-jitsu. So you're definitely getting your money's worth for any FloGrappling subscribers out there.
Yeah, if you want to watch jiu-jitsu this weekend or next weekend on FloGrappling is definitely the one to watch out for. And, BJJ Stars, awesome event. We've talked a lot about how incredible this event is. Trey just went down there for the Nogi Grand Prix that Mika won, had an incredible time down there. They're putting together an absolute Grand Prix this time around. And, looking at this graphic right here, it's like obviously there's a lot of great names in this Nogi Grand Prix, WNO champions and ADCC champions and stuff like that. But the story here has got to be that Fabricio Andre is mixing it up with Cyborg, Pedro, Josh Saunders, Heisum, Devante. They're all pretty much in the same weight class, except for Fabricio Andre, who's sort of been kind of known as this like absolute killer these days. So just a funny graphic right here to have.
Super fun.
To have that Fabricio, who's a featherweight IBJJF world champion, right here in the front, mixing it up with some of the most, mammoth guys in the sport. Like Josh Saunders is huge.
Enormous.
That dude's a monster. Heisum is huge. These guys like have 100+ pounds on.
Heisum's a foot taller than him. Genuinely over least. A foot taller than him.
Yeah. So,
I mean, like the next closest guy in size is probably what, Pedro Mourinho, the 205 WNO champ. Like he can definitely do 185, but he's a thick boy.
He
all
cuts
these dudes
down to make 185, like barely making 185. Fabricio's never weighed 160 pounds in his life.
Yeah. This is such a hilarious graphic to look at, though. Yeah. They are just so big.
But Fabricio might be the strongest guy in here. Let's not act like he does not have like a super solid chance in this bracket.
Yeah.
Fabricio's a total nightmare for any of these guys. He's so much quicker. He's very technical. He's very exciting. I think he really shines under rule sets where especially when there's like a no points period. I feel like at IBJJF Worlds, he was attacking the submission so heavy that he gave up a couple of points. Like he's just been so aggressive. There's a reason that we all love watching Fabricio Andre, and he just pulls off these magical moments time and again that I think it's awesome to put him in here. I think this is genius work by FEPA. It's like, get one small guy who can be a total disruptor, throw him in the mix, see what happens.
Dude, if they, a lot of promotions will do a little promo stuff before. Maybe they'll do the grip test or some little fun social media test type of thing. They should measure these guys' biceps. There's no way Fabricio's last. I guarantee it. Fabricio has the craziest, when this dude hits the double bicep, his arms are so big that, it would be hilarious to see where he ends up on the bicep test. I'll put him, 5th maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
For people who might not, there's a lot of people in here that I think fans would recognize. If you don't recognize them, next to Pedro Mourinho and Cyborg, that's Eli Braz, super tough Brazilian guy who won a qualifier tournament to get in here. To me, that's always really interesting when a guy wins a qualifier tournament. I think that gives a lot of good momentum. I think that gives a lot of confidence. He's been a guy who I think he trains a lot with Felipe Pena. And has been just like kind of bubbling on that scene, like second at trials, third at trials, medaling at Nogi Brasileiros, just right under the radar. This could be a really great opportunity for him to get in there, pick up a big win. Even just one big win is really going to put him on the map here.
You have Javier Zaruski in there as well, who's another guy who's kind of really on the come up. We haven't seen the best of him. We've had him on Who's Number One. Nogi World Champion?
Nogi World Champion. Beat Trattor in the finals with a submission. Yeah, crazy.
So obviously Javier, is a little bit lesser known than some of these other guys, but is on that kind of really upward trajectory. We haven't seen the best of him, and we will see the best of him, I think, in the future. That dude's a beast. Potentially see the Heisam Cyborg rematch.
True.
Here. That was a huge match.
That would be a cool one first round.
Yeah, that was a huge match. ADCC 2022. Probably one of the biggest moments in like my ADCC tenure, I feel like, in terms of just like
for sure.
In terms of just like crowd reaction and everything like that. It was just such a monumental moment when I think back of like all the moments I've been mat side for. Like that one was huge.
Definitely one of the most electric crowd pops.
Yeah.
Of any sporting event, live sporting event I've been to. That was one of the craziest moments for sure. But yeah, this absolute GP is going to be pretty sick for sure. I know there's more matches on this, right? Helena Crevar.
If you scroll down, there should be a full card. Yeah. We'll be able to take a look. Yeah, Ana Rodriguez is going to face Julia Alves. Helena Crevar is going to face Talita Lima. Both of those are title fights. I think they're incredible title fights. Anna just coming back from ACL surgery after ADCC. She just did a tournament, the BJJ Pro in Kiritaba, I think it was. Won that. Looks like herself again. Always cool to see A-Rod back in the mix. Her and Julia they've never faced off at black belt, but they've both been very, very successful on the scene. They've both been killing it in the AJP scene, for example. Both been like queens of the AJP, won that tournament. And so now for them to face off, I think this is, been brewing for a long time for these two to finally face off and to see Helena in her rookie black belt year.
Yeah.
Stepping up, taking some of these big swings in the gi, I think is awesome.
Helena just had her black belt debut right here in Austin at the IBJJF Austin Open. And now this will be her kind of black belt super fight debut. And Talita just won the world championships. Yep. So she's
number one in the world,
taking big swings right out the gate for her first ever super fight match. She's going down to Brazil in kind of Talita's backyard. She just won the IBJJF World Championships at black belt. Of course, Helena won the IBJJF World Championships at brown belt. It's potential we can see these girls facing off next year in the IBJJF World Championships at black belt. So pretty incredible match. Pretty incredible for Helena to kind of be taking these big established girls on in her rookie debut.
Yeah, so. I do think this will be her black belt gi debut also. I think she only ended up doing no gi, if I'm not mistaken, at the Austin Open. So I'm pretty sure this will be her debut in the gi at black belt, which is pretty sick. Helena, I feel like, doesn't get enough credit for how much she competes. Obviously, I think everyone knows she competes a ton. But she competes across all rule sets, all styles, like everything. She's doing ADCC style or rule set, WNO. Anybody who will take her, Helena will be there. Any open tournament, she's entering it and always competing. So obviously, that's one of the factors of like Helena's success. Is how often she competes and her willingness to compete across all rule sets. Gi, no gi, doesn't really matter. So that's pretty sick. But Helena is also in another big bracket coming up, big no-gi bracket at CJI 2. She's in the women's bracket, but they finally announced the fourth member of this bracket, and I'm not going to lie, it got me pretty stoked. Like, I think this one's going to be pretty sick. They announced Sarah Galvao is the fourth member of the female bracket at CJI 2, so it's going to be Helena, Sarah, Anna Carolina, and who's the fourth one? Adele Fornerino. Yeah, how could I forget Daddy, But so I think that's going to be a really sick one. I think it's awesome for Sarah to just Sarah and Helena both to just get their black belt and be like, all right, we're in it now. Like, no cherry picking matches, no trying to get easy fights or anything like that. They're just jumping right into one of the biggest stages in jiu-jitsu. Obviously, this tournament's going to be insane, and they're going to be right there one of the focal points of it. So I'm excited for that one. How do you guys think, if we had to predict,
100K on the line too. That's I think one of the biggest, or if not the biggest purse for the biggest purse for women's jiu-jitsu out there. So yeah, a lot on the line too.
How do you guys think, if you had to predict how they would shape this bracket, do you guys have a prediction for how you think each side would shape up?
I would be very surprised if it is not Helena versus Sarah trilogy match in the first round, and on the other side it is ADCC champion versus ADCC champion, Adele versus Anna. And that was kind of like coming out of ADCC, the two women you could look at. That was like the one champion that Adele didn't face, because she did face Rafaela. And the one person, like, you could, make any reasonable argument at ADCC that Adele did not get a victory over. I think that they'll run that in the first round. I think that, we've seen two matches between Sarah and Helena in the gi at color belt. Now let's get the trilogy out of the way very early at black belt. I think would be very cool. Let them build on that and then face off in the finals. I think it's clear they're probably not going to have Adele and Sarah face off first round, right? Because of the Atos connection. And I don't know if they would do the ADCC rematch first round with Helena.
Yeah. They obviously did the Helena versus Anna Carolina was the finals of ADCC. Pretty scrappy match. Wasn't the didn't have crazy highlights or anything like that from that match. So I feel like maybe they would go away from that. But it's like I do just kind of want to see all these girls fight each other, to be honest. Like, I'm interested. I want to see Adele versus Helena really bad for sure as well. I want to see Adele versus Anna Carolina, just because Anna didn't enter the absolute division, right? I don't remember why she didn't. Yeah. I don't remember why she didn't, but
I think she was just like happy she won and just like off celebrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but would love to see Anna versus Adele. And then, I think Sarah is the real wild card here. Obviously Sarah is, Andre and Angelica's daughter. She's been on the scene for a long, long time, but she's really starting now to, obviously she just got her black belt. And she's really starting now to test herself in these elite competitions and stuff like that. So I think the biggest question mark is Sarah Galvao and how she's going to kind of match up with Anna Carolina and Adele. We have seen her against Helena and she won that match, but I think there's plenty left in the tank for both those two girls. I think we're going to see that match a bunch more times and see some back and forth, because they are two of the most elite girls in there.
I think all four of these girls, to me, and like, I know people take losses here and there, or have like a bad showing, whatever. I feel like that's like more common in jiu-jitsu. It's not something, it's very rare where a person is just undefeated for hundreds of matches or whatever.
As the guy who does the rankings, yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, but I think all four of these girls do have like an air of invincibility about them, especially right now in their career. Like, Anna Carolina looked so great at the last ADCC, where it was like, oh damn, yeah, Anna Carolina, dude, how do you stop her? Adele, obviously double gold at ADCC. She seems like she can't be beaten right now.
And she's bulking up for this Jasmine match. Obviously, she's kind of bulking up for the CJI, because she is probably, she is definitely the smallest girl here. So she is kind of, it seems like she's trying to put on some muscle and stuff like that, so she can kind of physically contend with these girls. So I think we're going to see kind of like a new form of Adele here too,
Yeah, and I know Helena and Sarah are both really young. Obviously, they're rookie black belts, but like, both of them seem invincible also. Like, I talked with Andre about this before. Like, it's fun watching Sarah, because Sarah is like so chill, so calm, so nice all the time. And then like, maybe someone like gets into a position with her or something in a match, and she just flips a switch and she goes into like this Terminator mode and just like is like, all right, never mind, I'm putting it on, and she just starts going crazy. She looks like a little Andre out there, just like refusing to lose in like at any position or anything. So Helena kind of has
moment, and then the moment she wins, boom,
back to it.
Big smile on her face. Is back to being just the nicest person.
It is crazy watching Sarah, how much like Andre you can, like how much of Andre's game you can see. And like, obviously, like, with like Ace Mendez is going to have like great berimbolas and stuff, but like, it is kind of rare where you see that defined, where like is like, wow, that is exactly how you really see
your influences.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For sure. So yeah, I think it's like a bracket where you have four invincible girls and there can only be one winner. So, that's exciting stuff to see how that'll shake up. I'm excited to see how the bracket is laid out for sure also. I could kind of see it in the way it's laid out right there. Adele versus Helena, and then Anna versus Sarah, kind of going that route.
True.
But I also can, Craig's a showman. Maybe he'll give the people the Helena Sarah match. He'll know people want to see the two young rookie black belts fight for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think it'll be great overall. And then we have most of the teams for CJI have been announced, right? So if you kind of scroll up, this is all of the teams here.
Yeah, we have all 8 teams. We have most of the rosters, not all of the rosters. We're missing most of the people from Atos, and then we need one more from Team Americas, I believe. But everybody else should be just about set.
And Kingsway still got a 77 that's not announced.
Yes.
Which we've heard is a big one.
Yeah.
Potentially.
There's some inklings that they're talking to some big name 77s, trying to figure out if they could bring somebody in. If not, obviously they have a lot of incredible 77s in the room, and they would need to do a trial system to figure that out. But the Kingsway's team looks so tough. Like, you can imagine Luke Griffith going out there and under quintet rules, under normal circumstances, not CJI, but just like a normal quintet, just running a team by himself very easily, right? Like, never having to leave the mat. Obviously, these are very high-level quality teams that he's dealing with, but, like, still, man, Luke's such a tank. How's anybody going to deal with that guy?
For sure, dude.
So, yeah, Nikki, if you want to pull up on the screen now, we can check out these rosters. Obviously, the 10th Planet, crew, a lot of the names from 10th Planet. We got Gio back in the mix, PJ Barch, Alan Sanchez.
The only team I think that is going full within like the team itself. No wild card selection. I think they could have chosen
Pedigo and 10th Planet are both.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Sick. And Kingsway could be. Like, if Kingsway keeps it in the family and they go with one of the squad members, I personally think Oliver Taza is a great addition for a quintet style rules. Like, Taza is so hard to submit. Like,
yeah, true.
It's like, yeah, Taza will take a loss. He'll also get a bunch of crazy wins too. So it's like, let's say he could get a win and then like he has a huge dude and he knocks him out because that guy can't submit him. Like, in quintet style, that's like a good strategy to have. So obviously I know they have some great options. They also, if Gary wanted to do it, Gary obviously would be electric. I don't know if he would want to at this point in his career. Davis Asari, a young guy, or, I don't know.
Jason Nolf.
Yeah, Jason Nolf. But they could also go outside of that, use the wild card spot at that 77. But I did just want to point out that I do think Taza is a great quintet rules athlete.
And man, Taza's been there for so long. You know what I mean? You look at this list, Taza would be the longest serving guy who's been in that room, been in that system for so long. I think also just having that maturity and that consistency there has been so important. Having him on the team would be really cool.
But this is the best part about CGI and these quintet rules that they're doing is to think that we could potentially see like Nick Rodriguez versus like PJ Barch or something like that. It's like it really mixes things up, and like you could really see some crazy matches that you don't normally get to see. And that's just like one of the most enticing parts of this whole situation for me.
For sure. Scroll down a little more. I want to see who else on
there. Yeah, so you got Kingsway there with Dorian and Giancarlo and Luke, Big Dan, of course. B team bringing a big squad of all the guys. They got Victor Hugo on their team. Nick Rodriguez going under 99.
B team also named TBD.
Yeah,
going through a rebrand currently with Craig is talked about. He talked about Morning Combat. They're going through a little bit of a rebrand, so that's pretty interesting in the middle of all this.
Yep, Chris Wojcik, always fun to watch him out there. Then you got this team, Australia-Asia, with Fabricio Andre. Kenta Iwamoto just replaced Levi. Lucas Kennard, who obviously had an incredible breakout moment at the last CJI. Declan Moody, who's a killer.
Team Americas, they got Taylor Perriman. That's so funny. I know Paul
the honorary American, Taylor Perriman.
Paul Ardilla ended up making it on Team Europe, beating Taylor in the finals of that trials. And so Americas was like, all right, we'll take Taylor Perriman then.
Pat Downey in the mix. He's a dude who always makes things interesting, of course. Team Europe.
Is there a heavyweight you guys would like to see from like the Americas that you could think of? Like, you got to pick, who would it be?
An American heavyweight.
Saif.
All right, now we're talking.
World champion.
Now we're talking.
Not an American, of course.
This is all of the Americas.
Yeah, some of them are kind of spoken for as
so we got Brandon Reed is the heavyweight for Pedigo, so he's kind of out. I mean, you know,
It'd be like a John Hanson.
yeah,
I was gonna say
John
John
Hanson, of course, is always in there. I'm sorry, what's the guy's name there?
Marcin Masielovic.
Marcin. I was thinking of what's his name? ADCC guy, Damon
Ramos.
Ramos.
a great
Apologies, Damon, for
Hey,
forgetting your
here's
name there.
the
You're
move.
a killer.
You hit the line, Goop Ice.
Yeah.
At your goalie, get him in the mix.
That's a pretty good one.
The Ice Age continues.
Ice Age continues up to
Oh
CJI.
man.
That's a pretty good one.
All right, Team Europe looking pretty salty, by the way. I'm really excited to see Pavel get in there. We have been pumping this kid up for I feel like a year, and he is just so dangerous. I'm so excited to see him be able to get in there and face some of these high level people. We've seen him face guys like Dorian, and you know, it looks so incredible at like IBJJF Brown Belt Worlds, for example, and at Ocean Pro where he beat Tommy. He beat Tommy, was it? Am I right on that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Decision.
And then for him to get in there, I think he's gaining more and more confidence. I'm really excited to see what he can do.
I liked when we had Owen on the podcast and he was talking about all the guys he was training with, and he was like the leg locks of Taylor Pearman and like the guard of Marcin Marcielovic, and then just the concreteness of Charles Negromonte. Like,
Yeah.
he was just like just the sheer willpower of being able to do anything against Charles Negromonte is insurmountable.
I know my ideal plus 99 Team America's guy.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
And this is a chaos pick. And I know that this guy loves chaos. All right. He's created a lot of chaos for a lot of people.
Is it Derek Moneyberg?
No, it's not. It's not Derek Moneyberg. Listen, while we're on Derek Moneyberg, I just want to go on the record. I have no staunch opinion on Derek Moneyberg because I
don't know the guy.
My DMs are open. So Derek, I don't know. My DMs are open, brother. I don't know. I could be swayed one way or another. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. You know, daddy's got to pay rent. So, you know, DMs are open anyways. My switch, I think Ferris should follow the Craig Jones style. He should go out for cigarettes, leave Team Europe in the dust, switch last minute to Team America's as a competitor, and Ferris should enter the plus 99 spot. He should go from the coach of Team Europe and just freaking say, sorry, boys, I got to get a pack of Marlboro Reds. And then, boom, he shows up full America kit, wearing the American flag, and Ferradinho, full chaos. He drops a new shirt that says Ferris the American or something like that. I will wear it. If you make that shirt, I'll wear it, Ferris. No doubt. Do a collab with Pommy, Prisoner of Mother England, and make that Ferris the American shirt, and jumps over. He's a plus 99 entrant for Team Americas. What do you guys think about that?
Electric.
Get two European boys.
I say don't even go out for cigarettes. Just also be the Europe coach.
Coach against his team and then just like...
And just fight against his team.
His music hits and he just has to hop the barricade.
100%. Why Ferris gets 2 checks. That's Joe's point.
Yeah. So, I don't know, Ferris. If you're watching this, I'm putting that one out there for you. It'd be pretty epic if you did that, if you pulled that move and went over with your boy Taylor to Team But
Is Josh Barnett still competing?
Oh, Josh Barnett would be a super fun one.
Right?
Yeah,
Not sure what he's doing these days, but put on some knee pads and get out there.
John Jones is a retired man. He's looking for something to do these days.
dude, Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen comes out of nowhere and just enters the CJI too. That would be pretty epic. And then Team Atos is the one where we haven't seen a lot of the entrants, right? Those haven't been announced yet.
Yeah, so we have Felipe Pena as the plus 99, but obviously he got injured and had to pull out a WNO 28. So I don't know where he's at with his recovery. It kind of sounds like we're going to get some more information about that next week.
Mm-hmm. I believe he's getting married soon too. So
hey, congratulations to
Felipe Pena.
I assume we'll find out a little bit more. I assume like a Kainin at minus 99 feels like a pretty good pick, right? Or even potentially a plus 99 if he has to replace. And then Lucas Barboza, you don't know what the Rotolos are doing. Gabriel Souza has been Atos-ish for a while. So it wouldn't be a crazy
Joao Mendez.
Yeah, Joao Mendez would be a great one. That's a great pick.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's who they get at 66. We'll see.
Andy Murasaki,
of course.
Potentially that 77 or 88, I feel like he could even do. But,
yeah. They have such a squad of champions there. You know what I mean? They can go 2-3 deep on some of these weights.
They're playing it close to the chest, though, huh?
Last team to declare, yeah.
So I guess we'll see how that one shakes out. And then the last team there is Pedigo Submission Fighting. Now, come on, this is the people's team right here.
Yeah.
Like, not just for the fact of like Pedigo's fan favorites through and through, but also like there is just something. I think it's cool to have a team that's just like, nah,
just the boys.
Wild cards are for the birds, dude. We're freaking rocking. We're rocking the hometown boys on this one, and so they went full just like deep cut Pedigo team right here. Tin Planet did it too, so respect to that for sure. But Max Hansen, Dante, Jacob, Michael Pixley, Brandon Reed. I think this team is, for one, stacked, but it's also just a great group of guys. Can't argue with a great group of guys.
Great group of guys.
Fun group of guys to train.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think there's a
Yes.
lot of guys on here that are going to be super effective under quintet style rules. Like Brandon Reed is really freaking hard to submit.
Yeah.
You saw him against Felipe Pena. Couldn't get nothing going against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was able to mount him, and I think actually was able eventually.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
But that's Felipe Pena.
That's Felipe
Yeah.
Pena, and it took a long time. These are 8-minute matches. I think in an 8-minute match, Brandon Reed's going to be.
And
really
what belt is Brandon Reed these days? Was he a
brown? Maybe?
Purple, maybe. Maybe he got his brown.
Yeah, maybe he's gotten his brown, but he might just be a purple belt for all I know. But I think he double golded last year at purple, and Heath's usually good about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's an awesome team. I think there's definitely a team that could end up winning it, especially when you bring in a guy like Dante as like the team captain ish on the mat kind of guy, who's going to be able to just power in with any of these guys. There's nobody on these rosters that's going to outpower Dante Leon. Jacob Couch with the leg locks is always going to be a super threat to everybody. This is an awesome team. Michael Pixley's going to throw somebody on their head, and it's going to be insane. This rules. I'm excited for these guys.
Yep. So the boys will be out there for CJI too. Should be wild. Our first CJI. So let us know. Let us know if you're coming in the comments and stuff like that. Let us know if you're going to be out there. Say what's up. It should be a crazy event. Obviously, you also got Gable versus Craig Jones on there as well. That one's going to be a crazy one. A lot of question marks there.
Is there? I think Craig's just going to crush him. I know, there's promotion around it, and they're doing this whole thing, but we're jiu-jitsu guys. I don't see any way where a wrestler, even one as amazing as Gable, is going to be able to come in and tap out a guy like Craig Jones, or be able to do anything meaningfully in jiu-jitsu. I know there's a lot to say about it, but I'm flying the flag for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I mean, Craig, is one of the greatest grapplers in the world. He really is. He genuinely is. Has some of the best grappling in the world. And he's just been off the scene a little bit, the last couple of years. We haven't seen him. And it's if you catch Craig on one of these days where, he's on a bender and stuff, who knows, what he's doing these days and how much he's into training. But that's why I was really interested to talk to Gable about what his training is looking like and if he's getting the jiu-jitsu bug. But yeah, I mean, Craig can literally beat almost anyone in the world, no matter if they've won an Olympic medal or not, it seems like. So
obviously 3 5-minute rounds does have some you would think a little bit of favor to a wrestler. He could get caught up in some stuff as long as he can survive, then put to another round. Now they're back standing. Obviously Craig can just sit. I don't know. Craig is such a wild man. Craig might wrestle with him just for funsies. I have no idea what Craig's approach to this would be, or how serious Craig is. I don't think Craig actually wants to lose any matches, but also he is entering a new stage of his career, whether it be being a promoter or just being he really is kind of I feel seeing the stuff Craig makes, it's clear to me now how much of an inspiration I assume Anthony Bourdain was to Craig probably, and how he very much is on this path of just doing travel documentary stuff and just going to places in the world where most people wouldn't and making videos about it and all that. So it's I don't know what Craig's thoughts or approaches to this match with Gable would be, how he would approach it. I know he's driving across the U.S. right now in a pink Lincoln or a Cadillac or something, and he said that's his training camp, so he's just stopping in at open mats or wherever he can get training and training that way. So I have no idea.
I think I really applaud Craig for setting a good example. So many athletes, when they're getting ready for a big match, will take performance enhancing drugs. Craig has the courage to take performance diminishing drugs and then go into a big match. And I think that's something I would also like to see.
He likes to even the playing field as much as he can.
Yeah. He's when guys drop into the CJI pit, they just scoot down on their butt and then they stand up and then they sit down. Don't even stand back up.
Yeah.
Why? Who's making you stand back up?
Yeah.
Slide down on your butt. that's where you need to stay.
Yeah, true.
You're perfectly fine. Don't even play.
Someone at CJI this year be the first guy to never stand in the pit.
Yeah, Chris Wojcik, never stand up.
Yeah, Taylor Pearman, sit the entire time.
What if we put Gabby Garcia in the Team America's over 99?
That would be sick.
That might be a good move.
Solved it.
Yeah. Do you want to take bets on whether or not Craig wears a singlet in his match against Gable?
By the way, I'm doing a Duolingo. I just hit 250 days. Brag. It keeps giving me sentences with sungas about sungas and stuff.
It knows what you like.
I don't need this many sentences about sungas. Donde está sungas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, this is the singlet of Tiago and whatnot. Like, I don't need these. I'm good on those.
That's very useful stuff, to be honest.
Honestly, it might be.
Yeah. But
what was the question?
If you think Craig will wear a singlet in his match?
What's the opposite of a singlet?
A gi?
A gi? Yeah, he should wear a gi. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But no, I bet he'll wear a singlet. At some point, he'll have a singlet
big dorky
on.
headgear.
Yeah, or something. Yeah. So that's a little bit about what's coming up for CJI and all that. The other thing we're going to talk about is PGF. So PGF did their draft. I believe their season should be kicking off.
The real question is what's going to be on that singlet.
Yeah, true. Who knows? But PGF is kicking off, soon. That season starting everything. They did their draft here.
I believe this is
interesting names and everything. Yeah, these are all the teams, right?
Yeah. I believe this is how the draft kind of, laid out. Everybody went and picked their teams, and so you got Drysdale, Canuto, Varela, Mika there. So here's what the teams. Yeah, you got CJ Murdoch, who from Pedigo Submission Fighting, always a fan favorite, guy who goes out there and just tries to kill. We always love watching CJ Murdoch. Obviously, Jet Thompson has just been on a tear lately. If you're not hip to Jet Thompson, this guy's the future.
Could be at the next. Super reasonable that Jet Thompson is at the next ADCC.
For sure. I think like looking at it right away, I think Jet Thompson would be the guy that I would pick as like a favorite to do super well. But then two sleepers, and I think they went late in the draft. I think Landon Elmore and Christos Papadopoulos, I think those dudes are going to have like big breakout performances on PGF. I think they've done it before. I think Christos for sure has done PGF before, but I think those dudes are gonna be great value picks late in the season and everything, I believe, and I think they're gonna kind of really have some big breakout performances. CJ as well. CJ is the man. I think he's gonna kill it also. So those are a few of the names that stood out to me when I saw it all.
Bunch of guys who have been on this scene in the ADCC Opens, IBJJF Opens. You see them around it. Excited to see two guys from Renato Canuto's team. Matt Mash is a very promising guy from 10th Planet, the 10th Planet kind of Northeast squad with Zach Mezzalani. I remember at one point I asked Zach, who are some of the up-and-coming 10th Planet guys we really need to keep an eye on? He said Matt Mash is definitely high on that list. You need to be keeping an eye out for this kid. He's a killer. I think he's done some combat jiu-jitsu stuff as well and done pretty well. If I'm mixing that up, I do apologize. And then another guy I want to point out right now is Rafael Ferreira. I remember I watched his qualifier run, and he looked incredible, beat some of the guys who ended up making it into this season. I think that this is a guy who had some just awesome, very fluid jiu-jitsu. Clearly, he's been one of these guys who's just been training his whole life. Total killer coming up. I think he's a guy who is going to get a great opportunity here. They're moving to this more weekly format, like it used to be every single day, and the grind of that was incredible. Now they're moving to more of a weekly thing. I'm excited to see how this season plays out.
Yeah, and I definitely think this is just kind of like a real mishmash of a lot of the future of jiu-jitsu. A lot of these guys haven't had a lot of the big opportunities on Who's Number One or some of the bigger shows, and I think this is what everybody's kind of fighting for, is to really solidify themselves as kind of like this future. Yeah, as we go into this ADCC trials season, and we're about to kick off. First trials, I believe, is September 6th in Poland, the European trials. So we're about to get right back into this whole trials mix, and that's always one of the funnest times because you get to see these kind of next gen guys really making a run and making it to the finals and potentially winning and stuff like that. So I think you're going to see a lot of these guys, especially these guys who do well at PGF. You're going to see them in the ADCC trials, potentially at ADCC Worlds, and at this is the beginning for them, and you're going to start to see them on a lot of bigger shows and stuff. So if you want to get hip now, tune into PGF because you're going to see a lot of sick matches.
Do you know when the season actually kicks off?
Off the top of my head.
I believe it's like July 25th ish. So I believe.
Right
around the same time.
Yeah. I believe that's when we do the first week kind of starts, if I'm not mistaken. I might be a little off on that, but
Gotcha. Yeah. So
Keep
coming
an
up
eye out.
soon.
Keep an eye out on the site. I know I'm gonna be keeping like a results and standings article as the season unfolds. So stay tuned to FloGrappling, essential destination for all things grappling.
Yeah, and we actually just got back from Vegas not too long ago there, where we were broing down with Zoltan, who's a part of this, and of course we've been talking with Brandon quite a bit, and just staying in the loop on what he's planning and everything like that. And obviously they got some big plans for this thing, and these guys are super passionate about jiu-jitsu and everything like that. So they're really putting their best foot forward here, I think. And this is season 8.
Yes.
Season 8. So obviously they've been doing this for a little while now. They kind of got a well-oiled machine. This 2-hour epic press conference here that you can watch where they got John Anik's brother, and everybody's wearing suits and looking nice and everything like that. So they're trying to present a very tip-top product here. So can't wait to see how it progresses for sure.
Definitely. Anything else on PGF or any of these upcoming?
Yeah, no, I just think we got to kind of stay tuned for how this all shakes out, But love to see Andy Varela in that coach role, to be honest, I think
I just want more Andy Varela influence in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Impart some of this knowledge you have, young man, and get this going.
Exactly.
Yeah. But all right. Well, I guess we can do, we weren't going to debut this segment yet, but you might as well just freaking wing it in the style that we do. But, want to do a little bit of segment for the grapplers. This segment is out there for the grapplers, where we want to shout out cool stuff that's going on in the jiu-jitsu world, cool stuff that like maybe you're hip to already, maybe you aren't hip to, but it's stuff that if you're a grappler, if you love jiu-jitsu, then it's like cool things out there that, whether it be products or services, anything that can kind of help you in the jiu-jitsu world. So I want to talk a little bit about Less Impressed, More Involved BJJ. So obviously it's a YouTube channel. They put some great stuff out on their YouTube channel, a lot of technical stuff, a lot of breakdowns, but Limmy is also a service you guys can use. And basically what this guy has done is he's created a database where it basically pools all the instances of like videos of jiu-jitsu that exist and that are out there, whether it be technique stuff, matches, all of this. And then it's all tagged and organized in a way where you can search particular things and then find all the information you need or all the instances where that's used. I was using it recently because Adam Wardzinski's been beating me up. There, I said it. I'm not afraid to admit it, all right? We've been spending a lot of time with Adam. We're trying to work on some big projects with Adam, and with that, I keep having to roll with Adam, and he keeps smashing me, and then the next time I see him, he'll be like, hey, Trey, is your game fixed yet? Are you ready to actually give me a tough roll? And my answer is always no. So I decided I needed to go into the belly of the beast, figure out what he's really doing to me. So I used Limmy, the service, to look up butterfly guard and to look up kind of some of the stuff like tripod sweep that Adam's doing, and it basically renders all the uses of butterfly guard, of the tripod sweep, all of that, and it shows you different instances where that stuff is being used. And I was able to find some little secrets, some little secrets about Adam.
And now you're about to smash Adam.
Yeah, let's just say, Adam, I hope you enjoyed your time at the top. I hope you've had a good time, running the IBJJF circuit. I hope you've had a good time smashing little old Trey. But next time I see you, things might be different, all right? So you better come correct, because not only could I watch stuff about Adam doing butterfly guard, but it pulled instances of Marcelo doing butterfly guard, dudes in training using it, Gordon, all of these guys. So, jokes aside, like, I do think it's an incredible service. Like, I think instructionals are great as well. I'm particularly a big fan of Submeta. I love the way Lachlan does his instructionals, the way he teaches and all of that. So I use Submeta a lot also, but Less Impressed, More Involved is a good way of just like getting a bunch of different instances of that being used, whether it be in competition or in training. And you kind of get to see not so much of the technical breakdown of someone explaining why they're doing it or whatever, but you just get to see it in live action. So then you can kind of piece it together yourself of like, okay, well, this guy uses it this way and he has this grip and he kind of waits for this opportunity. Now let me compare that to all these other instances of the same thing. And I really do just think it's an awesome tool. Like, you know, someone really found a way to find something that the jiu-jitsu world could use and probably does need, and they've created kind of a pretty awesome thing. And a lot of it pulls from FloGrappling videos, which is, you know, that's great. When you make videos, the biggest thing is that you want people to watch those videos. So if this means more people watch the videos we make and stuff, then, you know, I support it for sure. So definitely, you know, a big supporter of Limmy. I think all you guys should check that out. Check out the YouTube channel also. And this isn't sponsored or anything. You know, we're just trying to give more love out there to all the cool stuff that's available in the jiu-jitsu world. So wanted to shout out Limmy.
Yeah, big shout out to Less Impressive, more involved there. We've definitely been big supporters of the channel and watched it for a long time. And you know, obviously it just keeps getting better and better, I feel like, and there's so much to learn on there, right? And if you like, you know, just the jiu-jitsu in general, you can never stop learning, and this is just an incredible resource for that.
Definitely. And, you know, other stuff out there you can watch, you know, a little like what to watch guide. I recently just dropped an episode of this series we're trying to kick up called Local Spots. Basically, everyone knows the major gym. So this one's based in Austin, Texas. Obviously, that's where we're at, so it's the easiest one to do. And I know that you guys know New Wave, you know B-Team, you know Six Blades. But this series is kind of, the idea is to shine the light on maybe like the uncovered gyms that contribute to the overall jiu-jitsu culture in cities, in little pockets of the world, you know, that sometimes are often overlooked, or maybe there's not a pro team or an established pro athlete that would give a reason for media to go and give them attention. But they are doing great things to contribute to the jiu-jitsu culture and wherever they are. So we went to East Austin Jiu-Jitsu Parlor here. It's a newer gym. They're established in like 2023, but it's made up of a group of partners who have been a part of the Austin jiu-jitsu scene far before the jiu-jitsu world was hip to Austin, to be honest. You know, Flo was already there. Flo's been there like since the start of Flow Sports, before FloGrappling was even a thing, you know, but these guys used to train at Eastside Elite. I think you used to train a little bit at Eastside Elite.
Yeah, I trained up. It was a big gym on the east side. They had a huge facility, CrossFit, yoga. They had jiu-jitsu and everything like that. But it was, you know, but before the explosion of jiu-jitsu in Austin, Eastside Austin Elite was really kind of like the rocks of the kind of combat culture. Toby Imada, if you remember him, he taught like kickboxing and stuff there. And so it was a huge gym, great CrossFit facility, great huge mat space and everything like that. And yeah, Zane and Bill and Vince, they all started training over there. And I trained back there, you know, a little bit back in the day. And now they all kind of joined forces. Unfortunately, Eastside Austin Elite kind of folded and it turned into a rock gym or something, I believe, or whatnot. But so they kind of all banded together and said, we got to keep this jiu-jitsu thing going, and they started their own jiu-jitsu gym. So a lot of like-minded individuals there, kind of coming from the same spot, and just a great vibe over there. Yeah. It really feels like.
Yeah, that really is like, I feel like the basis of what their gym is based around, you know, is having a great community, having a great vibe, a place where people can come. And in the video, I say kind of, you know, it's like a great place for people who love jiu-jitsu or don't realize they love jiu-jitsu yet, to go try it out, have like a great facility to kind of explore the jiu-jitsu thing and see if it's for them. And I feel like most people will find out that it is for them. You know, jiu-jitsu is for everybody. So this is a great place to check it out and all that. And then one thing I like about the series is we tried to tie in the city a lot. So these guys talk a lot about Austin and seeing the growth of Austin and how, you know, jiu-jitsu's contributed to that, but also how the city itself and the growth of the city contributed to jiu-jitsu in Austin. I think that's a pretty interesting thing, especially hearing from these guys who are well-versed in the Austin culture, but also in the jiu-jitsu culture as well. So, you know, if you guys got a few extra minutes, 11 minutes or so, go check this bad boy out, drop a comment, what you think about it. But also, you know, I'm trying to find the next local spot. So drop your favorite gym, drop a gym that you think kind of embodies the jiu-jitsu spirit, you know, is a vital part of the city it's in, you know, is kind of not just being there to make money and all that, but also kind of offering a service back and reflecting the culture and the community that it's within. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here with Local Spots. I'm pretty stoked on the series. I'll shout out the editor, Jordan Prokel. She's a newer editor here at Flow Sports. She did a great job. So, you know, shout out her. And yeah, hopefully we make a lot more of these. I like this series, you know, it's a fun one.
You know, like we just go to the same gyms quite a bit, you know, over the 10 years I've been to Atos and you know, a lot of these other bigger gyms so many times. So yeah, we want to go to your gym. We want to go to the gyms that the media's never been to, that FloGrappling's never been to, that are doing something fun, doing something cool, and doing something interesting. So if you guys are out there, you guys got a cool gym, you want us to come by, you know, let us know in the comments, because absolutely we want to check out more of what the jiu-jitsu community has to offer rather than just the biggest gyms. You know, we know there's so many thousands of gyms out there that are doing great things, and we want to highlight them.
Definitely. But, you know, before we go, just remember WNO 29 is going down July 25th. We're going to do next week. We'll do a full preview. We'll break it all down, every match, what to expect, you know, what to get excited about. But thank you all for tuning into this episode. You know, hopefully you'll be watching some of these events coming up. I know we will. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.